different business and organizations. Do a lot of stuff with the ship channeling industry, and I work with the Texas Women's Hospital and just stuff like that to help them in their communication and leadership. So it's been fun, different, but I've really enjoyed it. And at the foundation for me, it's all ministry, right? It's all, everything I do for me I do it because of the core of my faith, of, what that demands of me. And then my coaching is really built, Jeff, on my faith that says, I believe there's greatness in everyone. But we just don't often realize it because life happens, and, kind of like our experience, things happen that you're not expecting. You trust people, you build a relationship, you get punched in the gut, and you're like, well, holy crap. What do I do with that, right? And so, the reality is those things that happen to us have a way of marking and shaping our thoughts and our beliefs that then drive how we behave or live out in the world because of those things, good and bad, right? And like you had said, we had that experience. You had this experience. You chose out of that experience, man, I'm going to make sure my faith side is over here because I don't want it to end up looking like this. And so it's nothing, that's not good or bad. It's just you made a behavioral decision based on a experience that we then determined and defined and said, I'm going to now make sure my actions in life looks differently. That's a generic statement. That's not a good or bad decision. It's just, we do that in our lives all over the place. The challenge is when we make those decisions based on an interpretation of an experience that actually hinder us or don't serve us in the big picture. They may protect us, or we think they're protecting us, but they actually become a ceiling in our lives. And they actually limit our ability to influence and impact the lives of the people and world around us because of the way we defined an experience and then started to live it out. Does that make sense?
No, for sure. It's like
yeah, and so that's the world I live in, is helping people kind of, relook at that, identify where those limiting beliefs are that are holding them back or not serving them anymore. Maybe they did at one point, but they're not anymore, but they don't even realize they have them, right? We hold them so long they become normal, and we start calling these things, well, I'm no good at this, or I can't do that, or I don't ever want to do this because of this, and then we live there so long that it's just, well, this is just normal life for me. My challenge that I called people to is, what if that normal isn't meant to be normal?
No, for sure.
I mean,
for sure.
If it's not, then what might the normal be that you could be living into that you're not, that you're actually settling for something less than what you were called and created to do and be, right? And so if people can go, man, yeah, it's that area that I have this belief and it's limited me and I just feel like that's how life is. And I'm saying, well, maybe it is. Maybe it's not. What if it's not and you're settling and you're coming up short in that area because of whatever? Are you willing to look at that and challenge that belief and see if there might be a different belief that you were actually called to and created for? Does that make sense? So that's the world I live in, right? That's what I do. That's my coaching. That's my training, my leadership stuff. And right now the book is really at the heart of that. And I'm just like, okay. So that's what's going on in my world.
How long ago did you publish it on the?
So the book has just been published. It's not even on. So I wrote it and it got done last summer. Got with a publisher and then another organization that helps you market and sell the book that asked me these questions. A friend of mine asked me these questions. I was like, I don't know. They said, well, why don't we look at trying to do this? And so it's been a year. It's out there, but it's not on. So this is more information you probably want to know. But so what I'm learning in this book world, right, is that to get on a bestseller list, which I have an ego, I would love to say I'm a bestseller. That would be so cool.
And be better at what it is that they're doing. And
that's a whole nother. So Jeff, you just tapped on something else that I do big time, and that's communication. So I do tons of training on how to be effective communicators across the board. How to read people, how to communicate in their style, how to be heard and understood. So that whole dynamic, that's I'm certified on 2 platforms, and I do tons of communication training for entities and organizations and people on how to be effective communicators in any industry and anything that they do. So that is an area that I do a lot of stuff with organizations, individually, corporations, groups, you name it. So that is, you just mentioned this idea of communication and strengthening communication across fields and entities and people. That's definitely something I can add value to a diverse group of people on how to be better at communicating, to be heard and understood, to execute objectives and goals. That's something I do in my sleep.
Okay. All right. Well, listen.
It's a passion of mine because I think we're terrible communicators in general, and we are selfish communicators, and so we don't think about the bigger vision and picture, and it's natural. And so when we can understand how people are wired and how they behave and how they communicate, and we can read that and understand that, we can make adjustments because everyone's desire is to be heard and understood.
No.
It doesn't matter about anything else. I want you to hear me and understand me so that we can go do X. But it's all hearing and understanding. If someone's greatest desire in any relationship is to be heard and understood, then our job is to learn how to hear and understand. And we don't know how to do that.
No, absolutely.
So that dynamic is a universal truth and training that can be done, in the context of groups of people to help them better function and execute together in their lives in every area of their lives. So that's just another thought. That when you said communication, that was like that's a whole other world that I spend a lot of time in.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, so give me a call when you have time as soon as your book stuff's done, and we'll talk more about it.
Jeff, I'm gonna put this the other way. Call me. I've got enough going on. I'm not being rude. I just want to be real honest. I've got enough going on. I don't need to add anything. I'm done May 7th. If you find value in our conversation and you think it would be a great partnership that somebody can do, then I'm going to let you pursue that, and I will respond. I'll show up. I'll talk. I'll do whatever. But I'm not going to put something on my calendar and go pursue something right now with everything I've got happening. And I'm not trying to be rude about that. I'm just like, if you see value in what we said and you want to pursue this, Tuesday, May 7th, my book launches, so that 11th, that Friday. After that, I'm in a whole different space. I would love to talk to you and do stuff. But if you're going to wait for me to call you, I probably won't call you. And it's not because I don't want to. It's just that it's not a driver for me. It's responsive for me. I'll respond to you, but I don't need to drive this. Does that make sense? I don't mean to be rude, but I want to be honest.
Yeah, I appreciate your honesty.
So I'm there. I'll respond like when I knew it was you. Man, I picked up the phone and called you. I'm good. I will respond, but I'm not going to lead in direction. I'm done that week. I am wide open after that week. And you want to do something? Let's do something.
Well, let me ask you this: could I get you to write something about? Since you're a big man on campus before you get Mr. Famous, could I get you to write something saying that you've known me for over a decade and that I did work for you and everything I've ever said I was going to do, I did?
Yeah, that's okay. What are you looking for? Like a endorsement on a website somewhere, on a platform somewhere, or just
shoot me your email and text, and I'll email you from my email address.